John here. Here's lick of the day number 124. It's a Petrucci-Inspired Lydian picking run. As usual, I'm going to play it once slowly and then break it down. And after the breakdown, I'm going to share some practice advice that you can apply to this one and pretty much anything else you're practicing. So we're going to start here on the 20th fret of the A string. Alright, so this one is based on the F Lydian scale. F Lydian is just like an F major scale, but with a sharp 4. So we go 1, 2, 3, sharp 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 1. So that's the basic tonality. We start here with an F major arpeggio with this added Lydian note. Very important note if you want to get the Lydian sound, since it's the only note that differs from the major scale. And basically this is just like an open C chord, that kind of a shape, but obviously not with open strings here. So we got 20, 19, 17, 18, 17, and then 19 was that Lydian note, and then we end up on 20. And from here we're going to do the actual alternate picked line. If you want tabs for this one, you can find a link to the tab site in the description below. And you also saw a thing in the beginning of the video where you could have clicked on. But you didn't, so now you're here. So from this point, we're going to use the Yngwie sequence. And if you've seen any of the 123 previous videos, you've probably seen this quite a few times, because I totally overuse this sequence because it's awesome. It's a 6-note sequence. And if we number the notes from left to right, 1, 2, 3, so not the fingers, not the frets. The frets would be 17, 19, 20. The actual sequence would be 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. So we do that on those frets. Then we move everything down to the 15th fret. So we have 15, 17, 19. Do the same sequence again. And then from there, we're going to go down in a group of 3 sequence. And basically just descend 3 notes from each note that we're starting on here. So we're starting on 17, go down 17, 15, 13, and then we do that again from 15, and going 15, 13, 12. And from here we have the last bit. Basically, once you know this shape, you should know the rest of it, because we repeat everything in the 2 lower octaves as well. So we have 13, 12, 10 on both E and B. Then you look for the F note here, do the same shape, look for the same note, and then we're going to end up here, second note of scale, play the third, and then this very Lydian sounding half bar chord. It's not a bar chord really, but if you know this chord, just a normal bar chord, and then you open up and let the B and E string ring, you get this chord, which, if you want to be technical about it, you have the root, the 5th, and then the root, the 3rd, then we got that very important sharp 4, but in a chordal sense this would be more like a sharp 11, and then especially since we have the major 7 here as well. So this chord then is super fancy. It's an F major 7 sharp 11. So you can impress a lot of non-musicians with that term. Practice-wise, make sure that you get used to this, the transition from the sweep, so into the alternate pick part. And a good way to do that is simply to repeat that far. So, and now you might be thinking like, hang on, John, we're not actually doing this big jump from the E string to the A string. And no, we're not. So that's extra practice for you, because that will make it even harder. So when you move this around the fretboard, your picking will get even better than what you need for this lick. So basically, right, so you move it around like that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. I like starting the lowest available position, because then and go all the way up and all the way back. because then I have something very concrete to do, and I like that instead of just, you know, sitting around and aimlessly repeating something and hoping that it gets better. Instead, pick a tempo which is absolutely perfect, so no mistakes, and then you just repeat it 2 or 3 times in each position, up and down the neck, and then you do that every day, and then you can just sit back and see how much better your technique will be getting over time. So that's that thing, and then basically work on the sequence if you haven't done that already. And I've given this advice before, but I'm going to give it again because I'm guessing a lot of you are not taking the advice. And that's to take the sequence, and you can either work on it diatonically, meaning just move it through the scale or any scale on every string, ideally, or you can just do it in the mechanical way. And that's using the fingering 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, and 2, 3, 4. And then you start that as low as possible. I'm not going to do it here because we're sort of out of frame. So I'm just going to do it here from the 10th fret. And then you play the sequence like this. So I do it twice in each position, or each fingering. Then you can go to the next string. And so on. Move it all over the fretboard. That's a really good practice because that will get you used to any shape really. And you might be thinking, well, hang on, you're not, you know, you didn't do my favorite shape, this one. Said no one ever, but this is the same feeling, even though it's a stretcher. Then if you can do this, 1, 2, 4, and then you stretch it out, that's the same type of feeling really. So. And when I say feeling, for your brain, it's no different if you sit like this or like this. It's just gonna feel a bit stretchier in the left hand. But as far as the synchronization and timing you need, will be the same. Because, you know, I never sit around practicing stuff like that because you don't really need to. Because if you can do this, you can do this. You know, that kind of stuff, and that was a bit sloppy, but you get the idea. The same principle applies to all the fingerings, obviously. So if you can do 1, 3, 4 like this, right? It's no difference doing and I would much rather have you work on this than sit around doing this as a practice, because this is gonna hurt your fingers eventually. So you know, it's might seem weird at first, but I promise if you spend time working on these basic fingerings, you will not have any issues with the stretchy stuff. You might have issues with the stretchy stuff because it's stretchy, but not because of the synchronization. So that's my whole point.